walked out of The Last of Us, he was saying that like we could have had the game already,
Yeah,
like
that
it
was that was messed up.
that hurt, man, because I was like, this game could have been done like years ago if he had the right team.
Yeah, but I know that man. Like what call it? Cyberpunk. They had that issue where they had to change midway through development because at first it was going to be first person and third person. They had to choose to stick with one,
Or the other.
and that cost them time. And the same thing with Red Dead. They were supposed to have that shit done way earlier, Red Dead 2, but a lot of people had left the studios, so they were having to fill positions and stuff.
Well, the thing is that like if you're gonna I mean, because you think about it, maybe Naughty Dog's vision of The Last of Us is more cinematography than like video game. Like, what would you call it? Like, cinematic.
Cinematic, yeah.
You would want it
Yeah.
to look more like a film, and that's what he was saying, that they're staffing with people that are great in animation and filming, but not that doesn't translate well to video games, and like that's why this thing got delayed for so long. But then it's just like, all right, if you're Naughty Dog, why not just explain to your developers like what you want instead of hiring these people that are like not in the same field? Like, sure, they're talented, but they're talented in their own special fields, and like you basically got to retrain them to learn what these guys want to do.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like if you already have a team that works, why are you gonna like add random variables to it?
Yeah, but that's gaming, man. They're always getting rid of people,
Like, you
moving
can
around.
hire more people so that the project can be done like
Nah, it didn't work that way. But they gotta get rid of this the crunch thing. Um, they gotta make some kind of and fans can't complain when games get delayed anymore. Like that, you know what I mean? Like you can't be complaining about too much crunch, and then when a game gets delayed, you're like us whining about it.
crunch. Like, you mean when they're trying to rush sequels, right?
No, when they're so the crunch is when they're forcing people when the game's like probably like right now they're probably like sometimes they force them to have like 50 hour 60 hour work weeks. That's crunch when you force them to have like long ass work weeks, long ass working hours and shit, like working like 10 hour days. That's crunch. You don't want.
Crunch, and but you still like hiring all these people. Like your company seems to keep growing. Like, why is crunch even a thing?
It has that's in every game, man. It's all there's always going to be crunch. The issue is because here's the thing: you have a date. The biggest problem is that when these games when they announce a date for it, right? They can't release pre-orders because pre-orders drive business, right? They there's huge money. They can't announce. They can't have games be able to pre-order like and not have a release date, right? And so what happens is they'll have a release date and then they'll crunch to kind of get them to release it there and then what happens is they figure out okay, so we can't put it in here in time. They have to move it. So you like it's one of those things where people have to not complain. Like say for instance they delay a game again. Like say okay, well no we said first was February, now it's May. Well hey, we don't want to put our people through crunch. We're gonna move it again to September. People can't be mad at that because you don't really know how much it takes to finish your games until you finish it. You can't just see like 6 months ahead of time, a year ahead of time that we need this much work or this many hours. It takes a lot to finish these games, man. Like there's no way to just know. Like you don't really know what you need to do until you get there.
It's like something where marketing, um, like leaves us in a big problem because sometimes marketing, like they start driving interest for a game, like way too fucking early. Like, you know, I feel like the company should communicate with each other
Yeah.
more and be like, all right, this is where
Oh
we're
yeah.
at. Like, now you can drop the trailer. Because it's like, I remember, like, fucking, like, certain games that pop up and there's, like, it's delayed. It's like, well, fuck, you guys left the trailer, like, not that long ago saying it should be here by now?
Yeah, but see that's the issue, man. You don't really know until you get there. I think that's what we're figuring out. Because look, you look at every PlayStation exclusive game, they've all, even if not publicly, have some sort of internal delay, right? Like Ghost of Tsushima was supposed to have been came out. They didn't have an official release date, but nobody had it coming out this late, right? June is pretty early though. So it's nice, but it's one of those things where you it's just a reality of it. 'Cause every single big game has that issue. Red Dead, Cyberpunk. The Last of Us, even God of War. Like we thought that game was gonna come out earlier. Like you don't really know. It's just the thing with video games. You don't really know until you get there. So the delays are inevitable. You know, you don't really know. The ideal thing would be like, hey, don't give us a release date. Just tell us when you're like absolutely certain, and then give us a release date. But then the issue becomes also like, well, then they have from a marketing standpoint, they have to have pre-orders. Like you can't like be like, okay, guys, we've been quiet about the game for 2 years. Now we're ready to release it in 3 months. Now you can start pre-ordering. Like you don't want to start pre-ordering 3 months before the game comes out. You want to start marketing like way before that. Um, yeah.
Like so, think about also when you do like I think it was Assassin's Creed 2 and 3 where they were like dropping developer diaries.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, that was a great marketing because it was like you were invested in what was going on in the game, and like you saw like the process of like the people. You were like, oh, we're going to Italy to like look for inspiration, take photos,
Yep,
and
I
like
saw that.
like so it was like yeah, they're taking their time to go do this research, and it was like I think the game came out exactly when it was like expected to come out, and everything worked fine. I don't remember that many complaints of those games, but it's like as the series progressed, there was like every game was coming out with like bugs and glitches, and it was like,
Yep.
what's going on? Like basically. So now that we're at this point where we're seeing crunches and delays and stuff like that, we're like, oh yeah, they weren't like the games weren't fucking done.
Yeah, but
It's just like they just had to release it.
yeah, that sucks too. They need that. Like that's another issue also. When you have a higher fidelity game, it requires even more bug testing and it takes time.
Yeah, and then you have also like the day one patches, or like
Yeah,
that can be like huge, and people are like bitching about it, but it's like, yeah, man,
they have to have
it's a
that.
shitload of code. What did you expect? Like it's code, it's textures, it's everything. Like you expect those things to be small?
I hate those day one patches.
Like
But you have to have it. They gotta figure out a
to
way
have it
to, if you
earlier.
have physical, yeah. If you have physical, like digital is fine because you could just it'll just update right before if you can download it before the game comes out early download. But physical, they gotta have a way to like we can have that early also.
Yeah,
Cause I like to buy my games physical.
I mean, for me personally, uh, you know how I think they could do it. It's like have the like day one patch available for download online, like on the PlayStation Store or
Yeah,
something,
exactly.
and then you could like pre-download that, and so when you like play, it would be activated by when you put your disc in, so you can
Yep,
play it.
yep, yep.
Like that would make sense to
I
me.
think they will.
But it's
I
like,
think they will because the big thing for PS5 is they talked about how, because you know how the PS4 right now, if you ever want to like update a game, update comes out, it has to take a backup of the original one. Like for instance, Call of Duty is like 100 fucking gigs. Every time it updates, I have to have 100 gigs available, and then it can update right. Cause take the backup. And the new PS5, they said it's not going to do that. They can do the updates, but I'll have taken a backup, and you can choose not to use the update if it's like say for instance if it's only like a multiplayer update and you don't want to play the multiplayer, you can skip that update and not have to be forced to download it.
yeah, or why not download it on the background? Like that's what everyone does. But it's like I think that we're at a point where people, like you said, if you want a hard copy and you want to like play it day one, you should have like the option, or like even like when you pre-order it, they should give you a code to the fucking like day one patch.
Something, man.
So it's already preloaded.
Something. Um,
I mean, like it
yeah, I'm
shouldn't be
pretty
that
sure.
hard.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Next generation, they'll probably do that where you can. They'll have the ability. If it's a day one
Preload.
preload, they'll have it. Yeah, you can just download it way beforehand. Um, yeah,
I mean,
that's
that'd be
kind
pretty
of. I
dope.
think that's. I think they know that. I think it's gonna happen. I think you're spot on. Um,
I mean, like I'm more of like a download guy because I just have like all my media there. It's always in a invisible cloud
yeah,
out there, and it's like it's easy to access when it's just all preloaded. Instead of getting up, changing the disc. Like yeah, I love like having the like disc rack. But it's just like yeah, it takes a lot of room sometimes. Like if I was to show you like my library on PlayStation, it's like over 300 games.
Lord.
Imagine that physically.
Yeah, yeah,
Imagine
man.
that
You
physically,
gotta have
man.
a
Like that's
library.
yeah. It's like that's not even counting like my PS3 games that are like my PS3 is still like somewhere in the house. Yeah, so it's just like fucking imagine having all those like physically there, not counting your like maybe the Switch games. Like, I mean, you really only need like five Switch games, like Super Mario, Smash Bros, maybe Mario Kart, maybe Mario Party.
Switch needs some good games,
I got
bro.
Hollow Knight. That's
Damn.
pretty good.
I got that too. I haven't finished. I got stuck. I'm stuck in it right now. No, don't know where to
Oh,
go.
you know which one I was playing recently? Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty good. I mean, it's really chill and relaxing, but it's just like for like it's a platformer. I'm like I kind of platformers I kind of need a controller for. Keyboards are weird for me.
Oh, using your keyboard.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause it's
Oh yeah, I got it then too. Shit, I got Game Pass on my Xbox.
yeah. Download that shit. It's pretty fun. Uh, I wanna get Doom, but I'm like,
Yeah, man. I'm sitting your PC. I'd be crazy.
dude, I've been playing Wolfenstein on it, and it's like it's pretty fun playing on it. I really can't stress it enough, man. You got to build your own. It runs like when you know you like put in the work and like some like your money in, and it runs like it's supposed to.
I hope that's what doesn't get delayed, man. They gotta be weeks away from being done, man. Usually they go gold 4, 5, 6 weeks before the game comes out, so they gotta be close. They gotta be right
I
there.
mean,
Come on.
yeah, dude, that's the only game I'm waiting for, to be honest.
I don't even know. Sure, at least Best Buy, cause I got the collector's edition pre-order. They're
My
having limited customers come in,
my
right?
friend did the LE one with the backpack,
Yeah, I got that one.
bro. That's crazy. Yeah, I put a lot of money into
Yeah.
this.
Well, first I guess got the regular one. It was like 160 something, but I saw the LA edition when they first announced it, but it was like 260 though. I'm like, who the hell wants to pay extra like $80 for a backpack? And then what happened was it was the wrong price, right? It's like 200, which ain't bad. And so
All right, so what?
it was already sold out, but it came back online. They re-released more of them, so then I got
All
it.
right,
I got
so
the
let
limited.
so like explain to me what's in this edition.
They got a statue, the Ellie's backpack, steel book, mini art book, and that's it. I think maybe a bunch of little stuff like stickers and stuff.
All right, I mean, yeah.
This is my first ever collector's edition. This is my first one ever. Like I was saved. I've been so close to getting. It wasn't get the God of War one, but I saw the statue early, and it didn't look that good. And then I saw it in person and looked, and I was like, fuck, I should have got it. That would be the Spider-Man one, but that shit looked retarded. It was like Spider-Man with like a doo doo
Mhm.
shit of his of the villains. You know, it was like Spider-Man and all his enemies all like in a doo doo spear or something like that. Man, that shit was stupid. So I canceled that one. So this is the one, man. This is the
So the
one.
statue's the one with Ellie, right?
Yeah, Elion.
Okay, I see. Yeah, like the first image of it looks really bad, and then you like look at a better image. Is it the one with her
Yeah,
playing the guitar?
yeah. That's not the final version. Usually they have like a pre mock up. Once you get closer to release, they'll have like a image of the better one. But in my experience, the
The quality's
like I said
really
with the God of War one, I saw it. I saw a picture of it, and I was like,
eh.
up close. I'm like, oh, this is ugly. And then when I saw it in person, I'm like, oh no, it's actually good.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck.
Uh, I mean, yeah. Let's see how everything goes, man. I mean,
Yeah, I'm saving my vacation days for that. I'm gonna take like 3 days off. Come out already. That and Cyberpunk.
this is coming out soon, though.
Hope that don't
Or
get
oh no,
delayed, but it
that's
might
that
get
should be
delayed
fine.
again.
That's already a lot of time.
September.
And they said they were like ready to go a while ago. No, they're just polishing and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was like that's what every
No.
kind of like
They
delayed game
well
says. They
yeah,
were
they
like
just
kind
gotta
of just in
yeah.
polishing
So
stages. Yeah, dude, that's
it's
that's
gonna be a
extensive.
big ass game, man. It's gonna be big. You ever play with The Witcher 3? That game's fucking huge. That's the longest game I ever played. That game was so freaking long. Like I tried to play the DLC, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like I tried to play, I'm like, I played so much of this game, so many hours. I'm like, I don't need to play no more.
Bruh, I did like 40 hours before I realized I
Yeah,
hadn't done
and like
anything.
you would see
I
like
was
the
just
thing like
like,
there's a
I,
percentage like how much done. I would spend like all whole days playing and it'd be like it would still say like 12% done with the game. I'm like damn.
dude, I swear, I went on this murder spree of like random beast and like I hadn't done shit. I was still in the beginning. I was like, oh. I haven't even got to the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
island. I was like, hold on, there's an
That shit is
island.
huge. The missions are so good in that game too. The side missions.
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
invested
they're
in them.
actually they're actually Assassin's Creed freaking learn, man. That's how you do side missions. Damn.
I mean, like, ah, man, I'm not a fan of the new like
Me
Assassin's
neither. I don't
Creeds,
like him either.
man.
That's the thing. I don't like him at all. See,
I did Origins, and then like when Odyssey came out, I was like, it literally just looks
yeah,
like
man, that one.
Origins.
Yeah, I told you already. Like that's just. I hope that new Vikings win is a rumor. I hope it's not like Odyssey and Origins, man.
Origins,
They gotta
imagine.
squeeze it back. It's too big,
It's a new
huh?
formula, dude. I want it back to like Assassin's Creed two
Yeah,
and three, where like the missions were
yeah,
smaller, so that like like there was an underlying
yeah,
story, but then you can do side missions like you know I shouldn't have to travel to a new fucking continent just to do
yeah.
a
I hate
mission,
that shit.
like to continue the
Maps
fucking
too fucking
story.
big, man. It's ridiculous.
I mean, like all right, make a big world if you want to, but like don't make us go out there. Like all that extra shit can be
Yeah,
extra.
extra.
Make a DLC if you want to. Just give us a main story
Yeah.
that's like maybe
I just
45
want the
hours
story,
long,
man. All that stupid ass side missions. Bayek, Bayek, help Bayek.
or like I think Spider-Man, like they should learn from
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
those are fun.
Like the missions, I mean, some of the like, all right, I fucking hated the like stopping every 5 minutes to like stop a
Oh
runaway
yeah,
car.
that guy. No, I
I
started
started
noticing like
ignoring
in the
them
first.
after.
Yeah, I stopped doing that.
Like I did like the when I like pretty much just cleared. I did it to clear the 100% thing, and I'm like, all right, I got it. Like everyone else, fuck this. Oh, I mean, like I just went back and played it again, but I'm like, I can't do this one more time, bro.
Yeah,
I was like, it's so crazy that like it's such a good game, but I'm like exhausted of it.
yeah. Honestly, as soon as the game, I thought I was liking it. The first little island you're on, and then when it's like it has you travel to the next place, like actually on boat, that's when I was like,
With The
oh
Witcher.
no, no, sorry,
Oh yeah,
Odyssey.
dude. I was liking it, and then I'm like, I gotta travel to another fucking continent, and then like
Yeah, man,
you, and then when you do
and
the war, it's like it's so stupid. You just kill like a couple commanders, and like you get a cutscene. It's like, bruh, this is not that good of a system. Like you
uh,
guys hyped it up, like oh you could turn the tides of war by killing one or the other. It's like no, you can literally just help out the person you're helping out today. Like yeah, you
yeah,
fight the Spartans, but like you fight them if you're in like attacking a camp or something, like not during the war cutscene. During the war cutscenes, you're helping whoever's paying you.
yeah,
It's so freaking dumb. Like oh, and then like all the mythical shit. I'm like, this isn't Assassin's Creed.
yeah. You're not even really an assassin in that game
No,
either.
you're just you're just a fucking mercenary. And it's just
Yeah,
like, oh, and then like the romancing options. Like, why do we need that in an Assassin's Creed game,
they wanted to be more like Mass
bro? You
Effect.
know which one annoyed me? The like, so I only
Which one?
played enough to get this one, but the old lady,
Oh yeah, you get to bang the old
yeah, and she
lady.
like tries to bang you, and I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to fuck you, like, and
uh,
it's like, but if you choose the option to do it, it's like your character is all into it. It's like, how are you into this?
it's the Greeks, man. They were freaky
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it's like, dude, was this necessary? Like, I think that's one of the things that um Ubisoft should like look into. What side missions or what what should we even like voice record? Like the time you wasted voice recording these lines, you could have been putting into quality control, or like ask yourself, is this quest make any sense? Like they're like
Yeah, this.
one of the quests that's like, oh, go to this cave because like I hear voices, and then like there's a fucking cave like behind a cave that like has tunnels that leads all over this mountain, and there's like thieves in there that are like stealing from the people that are offering fucking things to their gods. It's just like, dude, was this mission necessary? Or like, why wasn't this tied to anything but some random lady hearing voices, bruh?
I also didn't like the voice acting
From
from
either of them.
the male character voice acting, and his look. He looked like hella basic. He just was like a hella plain. There's nothing about him that sticks out to me at all.
I think
In all honesty, he doesn't.
I think could have done
Damn,
like instead of like doing Michael Fassbender for a movie, they should have just borrowed his looks for the game.
that would be sick, but they couldn't
No, but
afford
it's like
that.
they just did some like generic creator character.
Yeah, it didn't
he
look
he
right at
he
all. He just the white dude beard, long hair. Like there's nothing about his
bro,
face that
he
looks.
looked like
Yeah,
a WWE default creator character.
yeah, he
And I'm
did.
just like, bro, you guys couldn't even let you know what? If you're not even gonna try on the main characters, let us make the main character. Like, if
Yeah,
you're not even
for
gonna try.
real. There's no
I mean,
point.
Mass Effect did it.
There's no point. Yeah, that's no point.
Yeah, like if you're not even gonna care about your main character, just let us create him. I mean, just make wearable armor that our character can wear, and that's fine. If you don't give a fuck about your
Yeah, that'd be
character.
kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. I'm sick of the choose between male or female, man. Just pick one
Yeah, dude.
and get us a good ass actor. Just get us one good ass actor who can do the one.
I mean, like the whole thing about why they're doing this because like, oh, it would be harder to animate females, and like,
Anime, yeah, that shit was stupid. That one effing comment. God, he messed it all up
yeah,
for
because it's
everybody.
just like, dude, shut the fuck up. It ain't. I mean,
That's a PR
not only
nightmare
that,
right
but
there.
like,
That's stupid ass.
so this happened when I think we had or like at this point we had already had like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Revelations where you can
Yep,
hire female assassins. So it's like, what the
yep,
fuck are you
yep, yep.
talking about? Like not
But it was also after we had Assassin's Creed 3 because it was after
Adeline,
we had that one Liberation, right? We had
Adeline, I
Liberation.
think.
It was right after that. Yeah, it was after that. So we had Avalon
Oh
already.
yeah,
So
Adeline.
the guy should just said, it's fitting for the setting. I don't know.
I'm
Fuck.
just like, dude, if the story requires your main character to be a woman, then it's a woman. If it requires you
Yep.
to be a man, then be a man. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you can choose. Because then it's like,
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is with that because the game's like it's supposed to be historically accurate. To be honest, there weren't a whole lot of like female warriors. There are a lot, but a lot of cultures didn't have them, so they face a hard thing to do. But damn, shut up.
also so what I would think is like now you gotta like make voice lines for two people, and with some
It's
characters,
more work.
yeah, it's more work, and with some characters, it's just like you're talking to someone, and the context is really weird because it's like the romancing options. It's like so,
Yep, it's
yeah,
neutral.
where it's like the woman or male like NPCs will try to sleep with you, and you're like either a man or a woman. So like that just makes every NPC that like tries to have sex with you know, basically by, and that's
yep,
fine. But the thing is, that's just so unnecessary. Why did
yep,
you bother to
yep,
do
yep,
all
yep.
that? Just
Yep.
fucking make a. This isn't a dating simulator. It's an action adventure role playing game. I think you guys had it at Brotherhood. Go back to that.
Yeah, they just try to fit too much into one game, right?
I
They
mean, they
need
could have
like
done.
you guys aren't like CD Project Red, man. You can't do The Witcher.
I mean, and they shouldn't have to. I mean, they made when Assassin's Creed was good, it was good. Their teams were taking their
Yeah,
time to like make new animations, start from scratch if they had
yeah,
to. I mean, Assassin's Creed 3, I remember following the creation camp when they were like, "Oh, we're talking."
yeah. I
They were
love
yeah,
that.
they were talking about how like, "Oh, we had to actually choose where Connor steps in the game, so it
Yeah,
looks
I remember
realistic.
that.
So every time he's like stepping on the ground, we had to like work with
Hmm.
rough. Like they were talked about how they had to animate around the fact,
Yep, the Avalanche.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, we had to animate around the fact that in the world, nothing like in the natural world, there's nothing that perfect. You're not stepping on like solid ground the whole time. It's just like,
yep, yeah. I know what you mean. They had to edit to where he could like if he's on a hill, like he'll actually be like kind of slanted
yeah,
over.
like
Even though on my Xbox it didn't always work though. I had a lot of clipping, but at least it was a good
yeah,
effort.
no, I mean, yeah. I mean, but if you go back and play it now in the remaster version, it's like it makes more sense.
Works now.
But
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, they gotta
and
do
then the
that.
way they talked about how they had to animate like Connor because he was a bigger character than Ezio and Altair, where they were like
Yep.
more of like swift fighters, and
Skinnier.
Connor
Yep.
was like a powerhouse, you know.
Yep. I know
And I loved
exactly.
when like you have your bow and arrow kills were great. The hanging rope.
Yeah, that was cool.
I never played the Washington part because I was like, at that point, it's not really even Assassin's Creed anymore. We're using like superpowers.
Yeah, I think it's like a alternate
It is.
history thing. Like
So it
yeah. I played the first one, but I stopped it because it was kind of boring. The
so
first
it
one.
was a basically a vision of what would happen if the apple corrupted Washington, and
Yep,
basically
he became
the
king.
apple is showing both Connor and Washington, and they ended it with Washington like, oh, he's writing down that basically like a monarchy wouldn't work in America. And then this random guy pops up and he's like, "Oh, but what? Why wouldn't it?" And he's just like, "Never asked that again." And that's how they ended. It's like that's basically how they ended.
Wow. Yeah, that was a cash
Yeah,
grab.
and I was just like,
Ubisoft.
I mean, why was it necessary? Assassin's Creed 3 wasn't perfect, but it was okay.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. Hopefully, because they delayed all their games. Every game they delayed, right? Hopefully, that means that they're going to take the time to make stuff now. They're not going to rush it like they usually do. Like they're not afraid to delay games. They used to never delay games.
Why do you like Death Stranding, bro?
Death Stranding. Oh, it's just different, man. Kojima.
Yeah, but why?
For me, it was more just presentation wise. Like it's very different looking. You have a world kind of disconnected, kind of falling apart. Um, I liked all the character interactions. I like this strange world of like the living are like kind of like they're alive but they're dead. Still in between worlds. I love. I don't know if you ever played the game, but there's parts where like you go to like a war like old war settings. But this reminded me of like a horror surrealism that like kind of like Metal Gear has. Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of like presentation wise. What about mechanics? Do you enjoy the mechanics that were brought by the game? Did they?
Mechanics were good. The delivery stuff is fine. The biggest issue, like I told Ernesto, I have with it's not satisfying enough when you make. Have you played the game at
No,
all?
I am completely
See
like.
some videos.
So I've seen some videos of the gameplay and I see the fallovers and all those like when you drop every single package and all that. So to my
Yeah.
understanding, it's more of like a UPS simulator. You know, like that's how I interpreted the
Oh,
game. And I'm like, all right,
nah, you got some cool stuff. There's some action stuff. There's some actiony stuff. Like you get like a cool like a suit that makes you like move faster. You get like a bowler gun and stuff. And you have weapons too. You have guns. There's
so how
plenty of
many times
guns.
would you say that like in a playthrough you ran into like action spots where you know enjoyed the
A
gameplay?
lot.
All right, so
A lot. Not too much. It wasn't like the action. So the main appeal of the game is the action though. It's more just presentation wise, right? Like it seemed to me like it was the brainchild of Kojima, right? Like it's like he took all the cutscenes from all the Metal Gear games and mashed them all together into a video game. But I think the biggest part I don't like about the game was it's just like not the mechanic wise, but the biggest problem is mission structure. Like when you deliver a package, it's always just to a character with like a hologram. And even though it shouldn't matter because it's a game, but it doesn't feel like you're actually affecting anything. Like oh, you're like hey, thank you for delivering this. Our town really needs it. It'd be nice if they showed that like okay, here's like because they're all underground, right? It'd be nice if you can go down there like hey, this is how we live, this is what we do, this is how you're affecting us, right? They needed to show that, and that's they made that game like in 3 years basically, so you can tell it was missing that. But that was the biggest thing. It just was missing any sort of gratification of delivering something. Like it felt good to deliver stuff, but we needed to see like and see how the characters like how it affected them. There was like only one side mission where you deliver something and it affects somebody. There was one where the person came out and you had to like help him like find his wife. That was deep and emotional. It was great, but that was the only one. I'm like, come on, man! Like, there never felt any need like or like any. it felt like it started to feel like a chore. Like you're not really
that's
satisfied
where
with who
like
you're delivering to. You
I
know?
guess that's what drove me away from the game because that's kind of the comment I heard was lingering about that there's no like it felt like the missions were just kind of there,
Yep.
like oh go drop off this and then like you didn't see it mean anything, so you're just like dropping a package off. You're
Yeah.
you're basically a mailman. And,
Exactly. That's it. See, it's things like because have you played MGS5?
yeah,
So to me, they're the whole three games are missing what each other need. MGS Fight had like the gameplay, right? Because I played the game for hella long. The gameplay and the weapons and all that had that, but the problem with MGS Five for me was story, right? It wasn't nearly enough of barely any talking in that damn game. Like Snake barely talked. There was barely any story in that game or narrative, and then that's this problem with Death Stranding. It has the narrative and story, but it's lacking on the gameplay department. They're both missing what each other needed. But the thing about Death Stranding is when the game decides, like, say for instance, like it's an open world game, right? So it's like imagine a big circle. When it decides to like make that circle smaller and condense and like have all the characters on screen together and like have some cool gameplay, it's good. The only problem is it only happens about like 4 times in the whole game, man. That's the big issue. But when it does do it, it's like it's so Kojima. It's so fucking awesome. Like it's so great. Like to see like what's his name, Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen, like when they interact with each other, it's so good, right? The problem is it only happens like 4 times in the whole game.
I mean I think that like this also falls back to what Ubisoft is doing where they create a huge world but they only fill it with so much
Exactly.
quality, like I
Yep.
like instead of
Exactly.
expanding you should focus on like adding more quality to your content. If you're gonna make something huge it should like always keep you engaged and it should always be relevant.
Yep.
Like
That's the problem. Exactly. Yep. It's a circle, right? Like I said, it's a circle. It's a giant circle. The problem is it's not filled with enough rich content, man. Like it's too big. That's exactly the problem. Hopefully they learn. They have to have heard that criticism, man. I mean, Watch Dogs looks kind of better. Looks like they learned.
so I played Watch Dogs 2 and I was just like
Yeah,
it was a
again.
mistake, man.
Yeah, that shit.
It
That
was a
shit pissed me
mistake.
off. The story. I like Watch Dogs one a lot better, even though it wasn't as good as those demos though. But I didn't like the narrative. It was like really goofy and making us money look bad.
I'm like maybe I would have liked this if I played it back in like 2014.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like. I didn't like it. They had the right. Like Marcus was cool and stuff. It's just the narrative was too goofy. You know, like the main bad guy is like a goofy ass Steve Jobs or something like that. Like fucking yeah. They just
You're fighting like microtransactions and you're trying to be popular. There was
yeah.
I played it, dude, and I shit you not, I only got past the tutorial and like the first part, and I said maybe I'll play this game again. But so far, I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
Every time
yeah,
I gloss over it when I'm looking for something to play, I'm like, not Watch Dogs 2.
yeah. I didn't dig it that much. Yeah, they just like I said, like hopefully a new Watch Dogs. Even though I don't know how you do narrative in that game when you can play as any character you want, but hopefully it's better. I don't know how though. You literally don't have a main character. You can be anybody you want.
I hope that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it could just. I think it's one of those games where it's like, okay, story wise, it won't be that good narratively, but like gameplay wise, like that's pretty cool. You get to play as anybody though, like just a random NPC. Like you play as a grandma, you can play as like a soccer mom, you can play as like some UFC fighter walking down the street.
Then we get back to is this worth the full price though? Like
Yeah,
if
we'll
it
see.
doesn't have like an actual good story, like all right, what if they explain like how do you explain that you can be anyone?
Yeah,
Is it
I know that's what I'm thinking too. I don't know how you do that in the story. I don't know how you have a narrative. Like, how do you even have a fucking cutscene?
well? What about if we talk about it like this? If you because I mean cuts like customization and cutscenes has already been proven in like even WWE games, and I guess to my like best explanation would be Kratos. Because it's like
Yeah,
when you're playing the new God of War, you can have whatever armor you have for him. So it's like
yeah, that's
why?
armor.
But no, but then it's like yeah, you can just do random characters with random costumes. I think that's the
Yeah,
next
I
step.
think maybe they'll have to record lines. Like you'll have like 5 different
Oh my god,
characters,
that's gonna
like
be horrible.
grandma voice, woman voice, dude voice. But I'm not. Yeah, that's the big question mark. But maybe the game just won't have a good narrative. It'll just be all gameplay, right? Like
I
it'll just
hope,
be fun
but then it's like
gameplay.
I'm not buying that full price though. I'm like
Yeah, I'm with you too.
that's like a PlayStation Plus like exclusive, or
Looking
like
for a discount.
Yeah, dude. Like, or if you can even get that shit for free, like, don't buy that. I mean, like,
Yeah,
if it impresses me and blows my mind, I'll take my statement back. But so far, I don't really like where we're going with this. Like, you can be anyone you want to be. Fuck the story. Just shoot these guys, hack this, deliver this. What's the
yeah,
point of that?
yeah. We'll see. Hopefully, they figure it out, man.
I mean, if you're gonna be a dumb game to just have fun with, why don't you go the route of destroy all humans? You know, it has like its structure missions, but you can just fuck around and pick up a cow and drop it on someone's house or something. You know, it.
Maybe they are going for that.
I mean,
Sounds like they are.
that's kind of where they want to go, but it doesn't work.
It could work. It could just be you gotta wait for some more gameplay. It could just, I mean, I kind of like I said I like the mechanic of playing as anybody.
But what's the
But
point?
maybe the story just won't be there. There's a way to do it, but yeah, I think that's the X factor. But it sounds like regardless, it's gonna be a lot funner than the last game though.
I mean, I think it has an audience.
Yeah,
Like, I guess they know who they want to target. But yeah, man, I don't think
yeah,
that it will have anything story wise.
yeah.
Uh,
Maybe
they,
something dropping the ball the last like 6 years.
I mean, dude, Assassin's Creed isn't Assassin's Creed anymore. That's all I want to
Yeah,
say,
I always have them. They need to sell the IP and let some other studio make it.
dude.
Somebody
Fuck
else get their
yeah.
hands on it. It don't got to be the best studio. Like get the studio. I
Right,
don't
the
know.
studio that made what's it called? Fuck, the studio that made God of War, man.
Nah,
Santa
they would never
Monica.
do that. Sony, they would never do that shit.
What about Insomniac?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Insomniac Games could do it. That'll be dope.
I mean,
That'll be real
they
dope.
did fucking like the way they made Assassin's Creed, where I mean, not Assassin's Creed, the way they did Spider Man, with
Yeah,
the motion and like the way the costume moves and everything. I'm just
that
like,
shit's
fuck, dude.
amazing.
Yeah, like, dude. And they made customizable costumes, and imagine that in Assassin's Creed, man. Fuck all this, like, oh, you get loots that are level higher and all this. Like, you get all these 3,000 different combinations. Like, fuck
Yeah,
that.
I hate
I
that.
like, I
Yeah,
want
I
two or
hate
three
that.
good costumes. Like, I don't mind. Like, the old school Assassin's Creed had the costumes.
Yeah, the costumes suck now. And plus you gotta like now they get the costumes. You gotta like kill like 10 cheetahs, 2 bears and shit. And I'm like, man, we're trying to do all that shit,
Bro,
and they don't even look that good.
just let me collect 100 fucking feathers.
Yeah, leave it there. I remember each Assassin's Creed like AC2, AC Brotherhood. You got like the special armor at the end, the black one. When you got the
Altair.
glyphs, yep. And then you got the and Brotherhood. You had the Romulus armor, the Wolf Romulus armor. That was
Dude, I
dope as
love the
hell.
wolf one. Revelations. I love the hook blade. I mean, we didn't get to use it that much, but it was fun.
Revelations could have been better if they
It
gave
could
him
have.
one more year. They
Yeah,
needed one more year.
I think they just spread it out because they're like, all right, we got to move on.
Yeah, give out Taylor his send off, or SDL his send off.
I mean, but Eto was a good character. I feel like they let us watch him grow.
Yeah,
I mean, but he was just a reactionary hero though.
yeah, he was very reactionary.
Like he just went with like, cause his thing was the first one. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 was where he wanted revenge. He got that, and then he just retired, and they came and fucked with him, killed his uncle. It's just like, yeah, he always reacted. Something had to happen for him to go and do things. It was never to just, I guess in Revelations he wanted to find knowledge about the order and like the people that came before, and he wanted to know what the fuck was going on. And he gets attacked as soon as he gets to the temple. Like he goes to like Mesopotamia and finds out that there's fucking the Templars are taking over there apparently. It's just like, bruh, like the order is really this big. Like, how come you didn't know this war was going on here already?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, there was like a lot.
disappointment.
I mean,
Story wise,
story wise, there was a lot of disappointment. Mechanic wise, it was fun. It had its thing. It could have had more. I think Assassin's Creed 3, like if Revelations was released in the Assassin's Creed 3 engine, it would have been really fun.
Yeah, it would have been a lot better because the one thing I didn't like was the AC Revelation. The world didn't feel alive at all. Like it was kind of stiff. You know, everybody was
Yeah.
doing the same animation walking around. If they would add the AC3 technology, that would have been dope.
Or honestly, man, even the Unity engine.
Oh yeah, that would have been really great
Like,
also.
so Unity, if you go back and play Assassin's Creed Unity, it's not that bad. I mean, it was when it
Yeah,
released. Like, the story itself, not the best, but it's
yeah.
playable.
Damn, I own all of them. I own all Assassin's Creed.
I do too, man. Like,
I never finished Unity. I didn't finish. What's the one after that? When you're
Syndicate.
in the yeah, I didn't finish Syndicate and I didn't finish Origins or Odyssey, but I own them all.
So I finished Unity. I finished Syndicate. I finished Origins, and then when I saw the trailer for Odyssey, I was like, I'm done. And
Yeah,
so I bought it, kind of like on a sale, and played it a little bit, and I gave up. Recently, I was talking to a coworker about it, and he kind of like hyped it up, and he's like, "Oh no, it's really good, it's really good." So I like played it again. I got to the part where you find out that your dad is the wolf, and I was just like, "I'm done." That was like maybe 3 days of my time wasted.
damn.
But you know what? I stand with my first statement of Odyssey's not that great. There's
Yeah,
some graphics wise, it's impressive. Mechanics, some of them are really fun. The kick is fun. Uh, fuck. The like when you throw your knife and kill the people, I can't say that that's not fun. You know, like it's enjoyable. But like you're not an assassin anymore. You're a magician.
oh yeah, yeah, that blade.
You're basically the guy from Shadow of War.
Yeah.
It's like you're throwing your knife at this guy, teleporting, and then throwing your knife at another guy, teleporting, and then throwing your knife at another guy. It's like you're not an assassin anymore. You're a fucking like
Yep.
Terminator. Like there's no one that can fuck with you. Like combat itself, you see like a life bar, and it's just like, all right, you can. I think you can turn off the life bar, but it's like that's so annoying that there's a life bar in an Assassin's Creed game when before it's like you just do this 2-3 hit combo and you can like fucking go on an endless killing spree, you know? Like sure, you're not an assassin at that point, but you're a really highly trained killer that when stealth goes out the window, you can fuck up a whole warehouse. Like, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just like nowadays it's just like you have this RPG element where you have to like eliminate that health bar.
Yeah, I
And
get sick of that too. Yeah, you're just constantly having to. Yeah, it's too RPG. I need to go back
yeah, and the combo is kind of like
light RPG.
yeah, and the combos are really annoying when they get interrupted. What
Oh yeah,
like when you're going into a combo and then like this
if
guy just
someone
comes
hits
out
you.
of nowhere, yeah, and it's just like it's someone who's like basically at full health. Or you know what got really annoying really quick for me? The fucking the bounty hunters.
Oh yeah, yeah, man, that shit was stupid. They're always looking for you and
Dude, I
shit. Like
can't be
you
doing a
can avoid them. That
mission without them showing up
yeah,
and fucking me over.
yeah, and they're hella strong shit too. I'm like, what
Dude,
the fuck?
I like kicked this guy off a fucking cliff, and then like I walked a couple steps, and another guy came and I kicked him back a cliff too. I was like, how many of y'all have to come this way to understand
yeah.
I'm not to
Uh,
be fucked with?
how they always know where the fuck you at too? Like,
Dude, they
what the
have a
hell?
GPS on your ass at all times.
Yeah, they always that shit was yeah that shit would piss me off too. That made
I,
no sense.
I think at one of my playthroughs, I like died and spawned at like a random island, right? And so it's a random island in the middle of nowhere, bro. This guy literally gets on a boat and just fucking randomly pops up next to me, and I'm like, bro, how do you know I'm out here? I didn't even know
Yeah,
I was out here.
that's
Like, bro,
yeah, that shit pissed me off. The hell is strong too. I can never beat him either.
dude. So like, it starts out with really easy ones, and then it comes out with like you level 15, and then a random 30 guy comes out and it like fucking
Yeah,
scrapes you while you're like literally about to complete a mission.
yeah,
It's
that
like,
shit's stupid.
can y'all stop hunting me when I'm doing a mission? It's just annoying when it's like, oh, stealthily kill all these people, and then it's like I almost stealthily kill everyone, and a random fucking mercenary shows up. and like rings the alarm.
Stupid.
Like you a mercenary, bro. Why you ringing the alarm? You shouldn't even be here either.
Oh wait, he's ringing the alarm.
I think in one
What?
of my playthroughs that happened,
Oh, hella shady.
or
He's supposed to
like
be lone wolf. No, hella shady.
or not that, or I think maybe one of the guys I almost killed and he came in. I
Uh,
think the other guy rang it, but it's like at the same time, bro. When the guards show up, they don't attack him.
yeah, they say like, here's another enemy in your camp. You guys don't care. Like, how do
Yeah,
you
like
know which side he's on? That shit is stupid.
yeah, like he's a mercenary too, bro.
Yeah, that
How
shit
do
is
you know I'm not
crazy.
in your side? You just showed up
Like,
to a camp full of dead people.
they see him attacking you, they're good. They're like, oh, okay, my enemy's friend.
Yeah, it's like,
Enemy, my
how do
enemy.
you know I'm not with you?
Yeah, they got God. Yeah, they got this next one better be fucking good or I'm dead. Assassin's Creed, I'm done.
Oh no, man. I
Ass
think it's one
Creed.
of those that I'm gonna wait for
Yeah,
reviews and stuff.
Ubisoft. They got
And
some cool games coming out. At least I saw there's something called Godfall or something. Looks like Zelda Breath of the Wild. Then they got that Beyond Good and Evil, which I don't know when the hell that's coming out, but
but when it
artistically
does,
looks cool.
I mean, it looks really great. I think one game that I got upset with was like, what was it? It was like mutant something like
Hmm.
with the chick and the duck and like the pig. I think.
Yeah, it's Beyond Good and Evil.
No, there was another one that like, let me see.
Oh yeah, I remember this game. Oh yeah, it's like yeah, I remember this game. It's like a horror like wave, right? Waves of the enemy come at you.
Yeah, so the way they advertised it, it kind of looked like it was gonna be a story game, and like not story, but like maybe a first person shooter or like a character with powers
Yeah.
game. Like maybe a heroes game, kind of like Overwatch, where each hero plays differently. Um, but then like more and more came out, and it's just basically what's it called, that Area 51 game. Uh,
I know what you mean. It's that
done
real
with the
time strategy game.
games. Like yeah, and it's just like I don't have any problem with these games, but they're not for
Yeah, I don't
me.
like those. I don't like those RTS games either.
Yeah, and I was like, it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it has, like, if you're one of those people that enjoys it, fine, man. But this game, I felt like it had a lot of potential, and it sounded really interesting to me, and it just died. Maybe I'll give it a chance eventually, but not right now.